The best decision I ever made for my health, mood, vibe, gut health, energy levels, mental clarity, etc. was to stop eating plants on a regular basis. I feel good. Before you make a snide comment, please try it. It will improve your life tenfold. End quotes. This is the caption on this recent Instagram post from Eddie Abbew. Eddie is a former bodybuilder who has gone insanely viral across social media with 4 million followers on Instagram. His most popular mega viral video has been watched by 64 million people. And I'm going to skip showing you that one here because every other word he says, he's swearing. But the point I want to make is that this guy is reaching huge numbers of people with his content. Now, Eddie follows an animal-based diet, and you'll find him sharing videos like this one about, for example, eating 12 eggs for breakfast. Let's take a look at this.
1 p.m. This is my first meal of the day. 12 whole eggs, boiled, with a little bit of tomato sauce from Prep Meals, homemade. Let's go.
Or like this video where he's eating 1 meal a day that's entirely meat and eggs.
It's 3 p.m. I've just finished training. First and only meal of the day. Duck eggs, scrambled duck eggs, for burger, ribeye steak, and some beef liver. Gotta admit, this looks naughty. Let's go.
And as a dietitian, it's pretty concerning to me that millions of people are seeing these videos because he's promoting a diet that is extreme, it's restrictive, it's unsustainable for the majority of people, which is, again, like many other fitfluencers sharing content on social media. Along with sharing what he eats, a lot of Eddie's videos are focused on demonizing single foods and ingredients as the cause of disease, which creates a lot of unnecessary fear, a lot of stress, a lot of confusion about the food choices people should be making to be healthy. In today's video, I'm going to show you 4 of Eddie Abbew's viral videos and break down the claims in each one of those, explaining whether his content that he's sharing is based on actual nutrition evidence or science, or if it's his own opinions or anecdotal evidence. So if you want to dive into some of the most controversial topics in the world of nutrition today and cut through misinformation that is spreading all across the internet like wildfire, make sure you keep watching. Hey guys, my name is Andres. I'm a registered dietitian who works with men over 30 to help them build muscle and drop fat. Been doing this for about 13 years now, so I've learned a thing or two about body transformations, and on this channel, I have 2 goals. 1 is to teach you how to lose fat in a simple, sustainable way, and 2, to debunk the rampant amount of misinformation online that's keeping people stuck, confused, and overweight. So take a second now to hit subscribe if that sounds like it's what you want to be consuming, and let's get into today's video. Today, I'm going to be looking at 4 different videos from one specific creator who has built a massive online platform sharing his polarizing views on nutrition. The creator I'm going to be talking about today, his name is Eddie Abbew or Abbew. I believe he lives in the UK. He's also a psychiatric nurse, and he's also a former pro bodybuilder, if you couldn't tell by just looking at him. The first thing that I want to talk about before we get into the video clips is the credentials. Now, while Eddie does have a background in healthcare, he does not have any in-depth formal education in nutrition. However, I actually don't want to focus too much on the credentials in here. I have mentioned this many times in the past. Even though I typically recommend looking to registered dietitians or people with master's degrees or PhDs in nutrition for credible advice, some people with plenty of those qualifications share misinformation, and some people with 0 formal education can also be a source of quality advice. Qualifications are not everything. So what I personally like to do is to look at the specific statements someone is making and base my responses only on the message and the research behind those claims, and not necessarily the person who is sharing them. This is true for all my reaction and review videos. They're not really personal attacks, but sometimes one creator will repeatedly put out content that is not based on scientific evidence, and that's when I think it's helpful I put together a video like this, covering the claims of one specific person. The first video of Eddie that I want to talk about is the one that I show you at the beginning of this video, and it's currently sitting at 1.3 million views on Instagram. I wish I could say this was the first time I've made a video about someone claiming you shouldn't eat vegetables, but it's not. Last year, I got a lot of hate in the comment section of a video I released about Paul Saladino, where I reacted to a video he made saying that you shouldn't eat vegetables because they contain compounds like oxalates, lectins, saponins, and tannins. These are all part of a group of compounds called anti-nutrients, which interfere with the absorption of nutrients or have adverse effects on digestion or metabolism. However, when we look into the data, there's no need for most people to be overly concerned about anti-nutrients in plant foods because they're typically present in such small amounts and are typically also outweighed by the nutritional benefits of consuming a balanced diet with plenty of fruits and vegetables. Now, the other thing to keep in mind when it comes on to anti-nutrients is that certain food preparation methods such as soaking, sprouting, fermenting, and cooking can help reduce the levels of anti-nutrients in foods and improve nutrient availability. Of course, it is possible that there's some kind of plant foods that you're sensitive to that's causing negative symptoms, but that doesn't mean that you need to cut out all plant foods or that fruits and veggies are bad for your health. You also want to keep in mind that there are a lot of potential health issues with carnivore or animal-based diets that are completely ignored by all these meat influencers. I literally just released a full video on the carnivore diet a few weeks ago. So if you want to get more insight into this diet and some of the issues with it, make sure you check it out. I'm going to link that in the description along with my video reacting to Paul Saladino. Now, let's take a look at another one of Eddie's videos.
Acne, brain fog, anxiety, psoriasis, depression, panic attacks. These are all related to shit like this. Sugar, sugar, sugar. If you eat properly, you should eat breakfast. You should leave it until about 12, 1 o'clock to have your first meal. But if you have to have breakfast, let me show you what you need to eat. It's low on the insulin index. Avocados, cheese, organic nuts. Remember, walnuts, pecans, some macadamia, they are fine. Berries, eggs, kefir, and then high fat, full fat, no sugar Greek yogurt, smoked salmon. But make sure it doesn't have sugar added, because sometimes they do. Bacon, olives, one of my favorites. Red Bull. I'm just fucking with you. This is shit.
Another one of the biggest red flags when it comes down to nutrition misinformation, and you see this all over social media, is people claiming that one single food is a cause of disease. In this case, he talks about sugar. Actual experts in nutrition are never going to demonize a single food because they understand that nutrition is complex, and you can't just look at one ingredient in a person's diet in isolation. It's someone's overall dietary pattern that determines how healthy their diet is. For example, if someone only had a bowl of cereal at breakfast, they'll probably have a quick burst of energy followed by a crash. I get that, because of the simple carbs causing that blood sugar spike. So in that case, maybe that's not ideal or not good for you. But let's say you had a bowl of Greek yogurt with fruits and nuts and had a sprinkle of cereal on top. There you got a completely different context for that cereal, and it's going to have a totally different impact on your body. A lot of the foods that Eddie mentions in this video are great nutrient-dense options to add to your diet. Don't get me wrong, but that doesn't mean that cereal is shit or that you have to cut it out completely to be healthy. It's this like all like black or white type of mentality that I feel like I have such a big issue with right now with a lot of these nutrition influencers. The other thing that I want to comment on this video that I can't just get past it is the claim that if you're eating properly, you shouldn't eat breakfast. This is a pretty wild statement to make without any explanation to back it up. When we look at this data, there's quite a bit of evidence that having a high protein breakfast can help improve satiety and help with concentration throughout the morning. Now, intermittent fasting, which is eating within a certain time window, can be a helpful strategy for some people to manage their calories if they're trying to lose fat, but for others, they'll find themselves hungry, irritable, low on energy. They don't really start their day by having a strong breakfast. So the timing you eat is unique to each person, and claiming that you won't need breakfast if you're eating properly is Eddie's opinion, not something that is based on any type of science. Okay, on to video number 3. Let's see what he has to say on this one.
Now, for those of you who've been trying to lose body fat forever, nothing has worked, you're on a yo-yo dieting all the time, and now you've resorted to starving yourself. Please stop. When you starve yourself, you're depriving yourself of nutrients and energy. In the process, it makes it very difficult to stick to, whatever plan you're on. You need to change your lifestyle. There's something that you're eating that's making you gain the body fat. So change your lifestyle, change your food choices. I can teach you how to change your food choices.
Well, I wanted to include this video in my review to make the point that not everything that Eddie shares is incorrect or is misinformation. I completely agree with Eddie that if you're struggling with fat loss, starving yourself with an extremely low calorie diet is not the solution. In fact, I made a video about this not too long ago. In fact, I actually broke down all the dangers of low calorie diets and how to find your personal calorie targets for fat loss in last week's videos. So make sure you check that one out in the description. As Eddie said, when you're depriving yourself of nutrients and energy on a low-calorie diet, it's going to make it very difficult to stick to the plan that you're following. And most people get so hungry that they eventually give up and overeat. There's only one point in this video that I want to make a note about, and that's when Eddie says that there's something that you're eating that's making you gain the body fat. What's actually making you gain body fat isn't some specific food you're eating. It's just simply because you're eating more calories than what you're burning every day. However, Eddie apparently doesn't really believe in a calorie deficit. He's actually made that point in other videos. This is literally a law that applies to the whole universe, humans included. Well, I don't know about aliens, but definitely humans.
Look at this and all this other. The reason why we'll be standing here looking at like this is because you believe in that calorie deficit nonsense. You believe in the laws of thermodynamics. Are you stupid? The laws of thermodynamics applies in physics. We are human beings. We're controlled by hormones.
So my conclusion on this video is correct. Don't starve yourself. But if you want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit for that to happen. It may be easier to lose weight on a whole foods diet compared to one that's high in processed foods because of more satiety and calorie management. But just like you can gain weight eating candy, you can also gain weight eating nuts and avocado if you're eating more calories than what you're burning. Okay, but that brings us to our fourth and final video for today. Again, I could be reacting to hundreds of his videos. There's a lot of things that are still important to say, but this is the most recent one and has been actually reacted to by plenty of influencers that I actually look up to and that I like. So let's take a look.
Asked me this morning, Eddie, gun to your head, an apple or a donut? I said, a donut. He goes, you're fucking lying. I said, why would I be lying? Listen, when I first came to the UK, I used to love apples. But all of a sudden, this is like in the early 80s, I used to love apples. Now when I eat an apple, I get an itchy tongue, itchy lips. Sometimes my lips swell up and sometimes I throw up. They call it oral allergy syndrome. If I eat this, you know, it's shit, it's fucking sugar. I know it's make me tired, I got all the fucking preservatives and all that shit in it. So I know what this is. But this has been palmed off as something healthy for us. I'm not telling you not to eat fruit, but I'm telling you that. What the fuck have they done to our fruit to make it like this? Wake the fuck up.
So what I'm getting from this is that Eddie thinks there's some way that Big Food has modified apples to make him allergic to them. He expanded on his thoughts on the caption of the video, saying that he believes it could be caused by genetic modifications, pesticides, really without any evidence to support those claims, just like any of these guys sharing stuff like this. And for that reason, he's telling his audience of 4 million people that a donut is a better choice to eat than an apple. It reminds me of that time that I made a video about Dr. Gondry, who said on a podcast that you might as well feed your children Hershey's because it's worse than eating grapes. Like, what the actual fuck? He then goes on to say, many of us are in denial about our food has been fucked with. My advice, eat single ingredient foods. They fucked with everything. Or but at least you know they're single ingredients. You stand a better chance. So even though he says in the video that he'll pick the donut over the apple, he then completely contradicts himself by adding at the end of the caption that it's better to choose a single ingredient food. But well, an apple is. This is all just fear mongering, guys. And it seems like the only real goal here is to create controversy and get more views, rather than sharing anything clear or useful about nutrition. Like I said, I could show you hundreds of other questionable videos with spewing large amounts of misinformation, but I will just list some of the claims that he has also made. In this video, for example, he claimed that IBS is caused by diet and to go straight into carnivore diet to cure it. Crazy. This other video, he fabricated a news article that was completely fake, claiming that he had a heart attack when the original article was not even about that. He literally photoshopped the title to make it seem something different that wasn't, just to get clicks and likes. And the funny thing about it is the fact that he pinned somewhat that says clickbait at its finest or something like that, when in reality that's exactly what he did. And also there's a post that has been heavily criticized, claiming that, and I quote, perimenopause is just a BS term coined by Big Pharma to get you hooked on HRT, which stands for hormone replacement therapy. You can change your diet, lifestyle, and reverse your symptoms. So basically he's saying that perimenopause is just literally something fake. I mean, I'm not gonna get into a lot of the criticism that he got around this, and also the fact that, well, he's so against HRT. I'm sure he wasn't really too against it when he was competing in his golden days as a pro bodybuilder. Now you will find hundreds of people claiming Eddie changed my life, but I'm going to reiterate what I have mentioned in previous videos about how these influencers gain their cults and their follows. Polarizing nutrition information, rooted in fear mongering, a lot of times misinformation. This drives people to make radical decisions around their diets, which aren't sustainable yet provide results, especially when you're cutting out so much stuff out of your diet. These people lose weight, they improve their health outcomes, but they also live in fear of everything that they eat, which if you ask me is a recipe not only for disordered eating, but also for potential issues with their health that eventually may start to show up in the future. I want to end up today with a couple of reminders when it comes down to nutrition content that you come across social media. Just because one person eats a certain way and claims it is the best way to eat that doesn't mean that this is the best diet for you. I'm not denying that an animal-based diet and intermittent fasting may work well for Eddie. If he's found an approach to nutrition that works for him and keeps him healthy, and I'm happy for him. But what I have an issue with is when he's promoting his views to millions of people and claiming that everyone should be eating the way that he does for optimal health. If you want to try out a more extreme approach to nutrition and see if a particular way of eating works for you, it can be interesting to experiment with your diet. It's actually something I've done a lot in the past with my own personal nutrition. I might do it again this year. But if a certain diet is unsustainable for you, you don't enjoy eating that way, and you don't really feel good, then that is not the optimal diet for you, regardless of what any influencers has to say. Now, there comes a shameless plug that I always do in my videos because, well, I support people, I help people, I coach people. I'm a coach after all. If you've been struggling on your own to find a diet that feels right for you without being too restrictive, this is 2025 now. I put together a masterclass that shares like 3 things or 3 steps that you need to be taking to be able to reverse that and to change things for good. I'm going to put a link in the description box. It's essentially a 45-minute masterclass that walks you through everything and all my learnings and teachings that I've had for the past 12 years, almost 13, working as a registered dietitian and helping hundreds of clients, not doing what this guy actually tells you to do, but doing things more sustainably and more freer than what he recommends. I'm going to put a link in the description box. This is ideally for dads and men who are looking to improve their health, lose the weight, and to actually make long-term changes. So make sure you check it out. It's completely free. But that brings us to the end of today's video, guys. I know there's a lot of Eddie fans out there, so just a reminder to keep things respectful in the comments. I did my best to give a balanced, evidence-based review of Eddie's content, but if you have any questions or I said something that you don't agree with, just leave a comment and I'll be happy to chat about it more. I do respond to my comments. But other than that, thanks for tuning in into today's video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out anything new that comes out every single week. Again, once again, Happy New Year 2025. I haven't said that already. Bye for now, and we'll see you next week.